Teams do a great job.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff they do is truly imaginative.
It is. And anytime you can take people behind the curtain, which essentially I look at social media and see that you're really going behind the curtain and you can do something well to bring people into the garage, to bring them to different sides of the sport or the sports personalities that you don't normally get to see. I think that's great. What is interesting, though, is now as we're watching the number 39 car, Ryan Sieg, trailing Chase Briscoe out there on the racetrack, is something that we did not see in Cup practice where cars running close to each other. Now we're seeing it in Xfinity practice. And by the way, this Xfinity package, not really any different from last year.
And so I did, and I watched probably 4 or 5 hours of coverage of the Chili Bowl, and I told him about it, and he scolded me. He goes, "What do you mean? You've never watched the Chili Bowl?" He goes, "You call yourself a race announcer?" And I mean, his passion for this is very obvious, but he also carries a lot of passion for the dirt racing.
He really does. First time I got to go to the Chili Bowl was back in 2001, and I was doing it representing Texas Motor Speedway there. That was the second year of our dirt track. And it was incredible to walk into the Tulsa Expo Center, a big, huge, all under one roof building. And when we say under one roof, the Tulsa Expo Center was designed for the Oil Driller Expo. So they had to, for an expo like that, you need to bring in some very large equipment. They built this building in such a way that there are no columns inside the building supporting the roof. Now you can put a racetrack in the middle of that. But the biggest surreal moment for me is when I walked out after the final night, and I think it was the year maybe Jay Drake had won it. I walked out, and Doug, it was raining, and there was snow on the ground, and I was like, I just spent the whole day watching racing. I mean, mid-January, and it was just such an amazing feeling, but it really is an incredible event, and you get why guys like him and Tony Stewart and J.J. Yaley and Justin Allgaier and so many other people who we know in NASCAR, Kyle Larson, why that's such a magical event for them.
Watching right now, Ryan Sieg logged some laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in this practice session, which we're past the halfway mark. Coming up, we'll take another 10-minute timeout and come back with practice session for the Truck Series. So look forward to that and watching these trucks take on the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series, and the Ultimate Tailgating 200 tomorrow, part of a doubleheader between the Renai 250 and then the Ultimate Tailgating 200 for the NASCAR Truck Series.
Yeah, which is going to be a lot of fun. The Gander Outdoors Truck Series, I've never had a problem switching from Winston to Nextel to Sprint to Monster in the Cup Series.
When it comes to NASCAR's top level, and came over last year to work with Christopher Bell, been a part of the Joe Gibbs organization for a long time, and I like those two together and certainly paying off in the early going. And I said he won those 7 races in the last 18 events. It was actually 7 of the last 26, so it took him a handful of races before he got it going. But once he did, look out as we see Ryan Sieg on track.
And what about the job that Ryan Sieg Racing has done with their equipment in 2019? The big step up. That's a brand new Richard Childress Racing car. Got ECR power under the hood, and Rod Sieg, Ryan's dad's very optimistic about the way this team's going to run, and they certainly kicked it off right down in Daytona, huh?
How many times have we seen a team like this that turns a big corner, they're confident, you go to Daytona, you know you can get it done, and then boom, you're caught up in a big one, and you start right behind the 8 ball. It didn't happen for them. Top 5 finish last week, and now they have put themselves in great position to get 2019 off on the right foot.
He's from just up the road in Tucker, Georgia.
You know, Shane Wilson told me, because he still lives up in North Carolina, and you know, you mentioned he's crew chiefing down there. He said they've got like a dorm over top of the race shop. So he goes down, it's kind of a college type atmosphere, and the guys are together, and all of that has to work in their favor.
Yeah, I called Cowboy Starlin a year ago, and I said, I want to stop by and see you over there in the shop. It reminded me I used to have my Xfinity shop behind my house in North Carolina. It kind of reminds you of that atmosphere. Apartment there for some of the crew guys that might work more than 8 hours a day, you know, getting ready for some of these trips off to the races. It was really cool to see the atmosphere and feel what a family that Ryan Sieg Racing team is.
39 around the 99.
Look, a great job with that. They're still double wide. You're more outside 30, and we're going to lose a couple here, but it'll be all right. Run your line here. Here clear, 39, trying to get you right rear. Here he is outside now. Nothing Nothing else. Nothing else. All clear here.
Guys that have the guts to do some of the other cars, so I just do, and I feel like their
Cautions fall. It could be anybody in the top 5's opportunity to win.
well, and those guys are willing to gamble too, and I feel like their car falls off a little bit more at the end of the run, the 7 car of Justin Allgaier, than some of the other cars. So I just feel like they might be the guys that might want to think about short pitting it, and could be the guys that have the guts to do it.
Nemechek back in the top 10, trying to bring Ryan Sieg with him. Sieg out of Tucker, Georgia. The team has upgraded their operation. Family-owned group out of Tucker, Georgia, and got a lot of RCR equipment. Shane Wilson over there is crew chief, and they have really done some positive things last couple of weeks. Here's Allgaier and Cindric. The battle for third is on with 69 to go.
See Jeffrey Earnhardt lurking there in the background. He seems to be doing a great job staying disciplined there on the bottom as well.
And the third car from Joe Gibbs Racing, Brandon Jones, won the race off pit road, penalized for speeding. It dropped back around 20th for the restart, finds himself in 14th. We've reached our final stage. It's Bell, Reddick, Cindric, Allgaier, and Earnhardt up front on FS1.
It's really simple. People count on you, and you count on your truck. So we built you the most capable...
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's what everyone predicted this weekend, right? A little bit of a surprise yesterday.
Well, I think the only people who aren't surprised are the competitors, because I think we all knew that it was going to be so drastically different. And you guys all asked me when I came in here, what do you think about the cars and the race? I'm like, I still have no idea.
Still don't have a clue either.
Have no clue.
Nope.
Maybe this time tomorrow you'll have a better idea of what's happening with this new setup at NASCAR's top.
4 tires. And the 2, Tyler Reddick wanting his car to be tighter on this next run. You can see track bar adjustment already completed, Regan.
Ryan, our leader, the 20 car, he is going to hit pit road and find his pit box right here. His car's been too loose this run, not quite as good as the run before this one. They've been giving him lap times and coaching him up as to where the cars behind him are running on the racetrack.
Jason Ratcliffe not waiting too long after those other guys made pit stops, and they had an issue here. This could be a game changer under green.
Yeah, and really what happened right here, they had some trouble on the right rear, so they had a really long pit stop. But what happened, everybody started pitting, and the 20 knew that if they stayed out there, they